In a gripping and suspense-filled episode of Expedition Bigfoot, the team faces one of their most intense challenges yet. As Mireya and Biko Wright conduct a high-stakes nighttime stakeout, Russell Acord ventures deep into the forest, only to lose contact with the group. What follows is a night of shocking discoveries, eerie encounters, and a race against time to uncover the truth about Bigfoot. This episode is a turning point in the investigation, as the team uncovers some of the most compelling evidence yet, but not without facing danger and uncertainty along the way. The episode begins with Mireya and Biko Wright setting up for a nighttime stakeout in an area known as the Fork. Armed with thermal imaging equipment and a game call, they hope to draw out the elusive creature that has been evading them. The forest is alive with the sounds of rustling leaves and distant animal calls, but the team's focus is razor-sharp. While Mireya and Biko are engrossed in their stakeout, Russell Acord and his cameraman venture into the forest after hearing strange clicking sounds. Unbeknownst to the rest of the team, Russell becomes so focused on tracking the noise that he loses track of time, and fails to check in with the group. Back at the cabin, Bryce Johnson arrives for a scheduled supply drop and to collect footage for analysis. He calls out for Russell but receives no response. Inside the cabin, Bryce finds Russell's bags and laptop but no sign of him or his cameraman. Concerned, Bryce notes that Russell is never late and always carries his satellite phone. It's 12:45, and Russ has never been late. Not once, Bryce says, his voice filled with worry. As the hours pass without contact, the team's anxiety grows. Bryce and the production team initiate their safety protocols, preparing for an aerial and ground search. Bryce reviews footage from Russell's trail cameras, which reveal signs of activity near a logging road. He speculates that the creatures might be using the road as a pathway, adding another layer of intrigue to the investigation. Russell's shocking discoveries. Meanwhile, Russell and his cameraman stumble upon a scene of chaos in the forest. The ground is torn apart, tree limbs are snapped off at great heights, and blood stains the forest floor. Russell describes the area as a battlefield, suggesting a violent encounter between two powerful beings. "This wasn't a bear," Russell remarks, his voice filled with awe. "Something held it against a tree and threw it back, or maybe it fought back." He carefully examines the scene, noting the absence of hair and the sheer force required to cause such destruction. The amount of blood is staggering, and Russell decides to follow the trail, hoping to uncover more clues. As Russell and his cameraman press forward, they capture footage of a dark, bipedal figure moving through the trees. The creature's movements are deliberate and unmistakably humanoid, leaving Russell and his team stunned. "That is bipedal, upright walking," Russell says, his excitement palpable. "Those legs look long and lean. That just doesn't look like bear legs." The team regroups. Back at the cabin, Bryce and the team grow increasingly worried as Russell's absence stretches into hours. After 90 minutes with no response, the production team informs Mireya and Biko. They found his big bag, sat phone, and Josh's computer, one of the team members explains. "Russ doesn't have his backpack or sat phone. That doesn't sound like him at all." The team decides to head back to base camp to regroup. "Russ can handle himself in the woods, but we have to take this seriously," Biko says. "We'll decide the next move from there." After 20 tense hours with no contact from Russell Acord, Bryce Johnson and the production team spring into action, initiating an aerial search of a 5-mile radius around the cabin. On the ground, Mireya, Biko Wright, and their camera team follow protocol, combing through a 2-mile area on foot. The atmosphere is thick with tension as the team calls out for Russell, their voices echoing through the dense forest. "Where the hell could he be?" someone mutters, the worry evident in their tone. Bryce, visibly concerned, reflects on the situation. "Ross, in all the years we've been doing this, we've never lost contact with Russell before," he says, his voice tinged with unease. The team presses on, determined to find their missing teammate. From the helicopter, Bryce scans the forest below, his eyes searching for any sign of Russell. Suddenly, he spots something. "Hey, I think I see some smoke right there at 12 o'clock. Do you see it, Dan?" Bryce asks. Dan confirms the sighting, and moments later, he spots 2 individuals moving through the trees. "Yeah, down here. I got 2 individuals," Dan says. Bryce's relief is immediate. "Oh, that's got to be him. They got us. They got us," he exclaims. The helicopter descends, and Bryce radios the ground team as they land. "Hey, Russ, boy am I glad to see you, man," Bryce says, his voice filled with relief. Russell, looking both exhausted and apologetic, admits, "Bryce, I completely messed up. I forgot my SAT phone. We've been up here for a few hours, man. I am glad we got protocol. When I heard the chopper, I knew it was you." Bryce quickly contacts the ground team to share the good news. "Hey, this is Bryce to Mireya and Biko. Guys, we got Russell. We found him," he says. Mireya's response is immediate and relieved. "He's good." "That's good news. All right, team, start making your way back to me, and we'll head over." As the team regroups, Russell begins to recount his harrowing experience. "We were at the cabin. I was working with the gear, and we heard those sounds. It had that kind of popping chatter sound to it. It was just maybe 100 yards away. You could hear it down the trail. That's the same sound we've been hearing," he explains. Russell describes how he and his cameraman scrambled to grab their gear and set off in pursuit. "I just had to stay on it," Russell continues. "I started hearing crashing. You know how when two bears fight, you hear the growling and impacts of something hitting? It was very, very violent. When they reached the source of the noise, they were met with a scene of chaos. When I got to the area, the whole forest floor was just trashed. Holy crap, look at this. All the twigs were snapped off the trees, as high as I can reach. There was blood, a lot of it." Russell's discovery marks a significant moment in the investigation. "This is a first. I mean, we've heard of these creatures fighting over territory, but we've never encountered hearing one take place or even being able to follow the aftermath of something like that," he says. As he followed the blood trail, the specks of blood became further apart, 6, 8 feet, sometimes even 20 feet. Yet, the disturbed underbrush kept him on the right track. As Russell shares his findings, a sudden sound interrupts the team. "Sure, listen. Did you hear that?" Russell whispers, his voice low and urgent. "Dude, come here. Did you see it?" "Right there," he says, pointing. "I got it on camera." "Yeah, I got it." Russell recounts the moment he and his cameraman saw something move through the forest. "As I'm tracking through the forest, I saw something at night move from one tree to another, about 100 yards away. I had my flashlight on it. My camera guy was over my shoulder, and we saw this movement of something traversing from one tree to another. I got excited, not gonna lie. I grabbed up the gear and said, 'Let's go, let's go.' From where the fight was to what I saw in the forest and beyond, it was all the same direction. So I just kind of stuck with that and kept going." In the early hours of the morning, Russell came over a rise and saw a broad expanse of forest. "You see how you see all this vast expanse behind me? You're not going to believe what I have from the other night. Let me show you. This is what we got," he says, sharing footage of what appears to be a bipedal creature moving through the trees. Russell also takes a moment to reflect on the significance of their investigation. "Did you know that the state of Washington is home to a legally protected Sasquatch refuge? I'm not kidding. In fact, it was first founded in 1969 when Skamania County, which contains Mount Rainier and the Gifford-Pinchot National Forest, two very well-established Bigfoot hotspots, passed an ordinance prohibiting the hunting of Sasquatch. Then, in 1991, Whatcom County created a similar law." As the team processes Russell's discoveries, the investigation takes on a new sense of urgency. The evidence they've gathered, from the blood trail to the footage of the bipedal creature, brings them closer than ever to proving the existence of Bigfoot. But with the forest holding so many secrets, the team knows their work is far from over. With each new clue, the team edges closer to solving one of the greatest mysteries of our time. But as the shadows deepen and the night grows darker, one question remains. What will they find when they finally come face to face with the creature that has eluded them for so long? This episode of Expedition Bigfoot is a testament to the team's resilience and determination. From the tense search for Russell to the shocking discoveries in the forest, the investigation takes a dramatic turn, leaving viewers eager to see what lies ahead in the dense forests of Washington. The truth is out there, and the team won't stop until they find it.